Okay, wait. Before you hit that trigger button, hear me out. I've been playing another MMO that isn't Guild Wars 2, and it's also not Final Fantasy. It's actually New World. I know it's a little weird, but bear with me. I picked it up. It was on sale, 50% off, and I decided to grab it. And I said, you know what? Like, let's give it a shot. It looks intriguing. It looks like it's something that I would be interested in. So I played it, and I really liked it. And honestly, I think it's something that you should probably check out. But let's rewind this just a little bit. For those of you who don't know, New World was Amazon's first major video game publishing, Amazon Games' first publishing. When it was released, it went over like a fart in a windstorm. It had a ton of mixed reviews. It had a lot of negativity swirling around it. It just wasn't the caliber of game that a lot of people expected that were to come from Amazon. At release, the story was apparently short. The quests were very repetitive. The gameplay felt stale. There wasn't a whole lot to bring to the table that would keep someone interested. Not for the long term. Now, flash forward to today, where we are, where the developers have spent quite a bit of time pushing this game, bringing it up to the industry standard, and really just busting their ass on it. They also tagged in a brand new kind of like expansion within the game and added a new weapon which offers a whole new playstyle. So it's evolving. They're trying to bring this game back from that rocky start. With its recent return to popularity and a bunch of the new features that they were bringing, I said, you know what, this is probably as good a time as any to jump in and try it. And let me tell you, it was pretty damn good. First, I'm an absolute sucker for really cool animations, really kind of medieval, gritty type art styles, and that's one thing that has always kept me interested in what New World was doing as far as a outsider's perspective. I really liked the atmosphere that they were setting within this game. So to start that's something that has kept me with Guild Wars 2 for a long time, is because I really like the aesthetic. I like the artwork that's tied to the game. I'm seeing a lot of features that New World has that has already made me love Guild Wars 2. So, you know, and that's not even getting into the full gameplay. Starting out with the character customization, you have quite a bit of diversity of what you wanted to play and what type of person that you want to be exploring this new world. Except for the Caffeinated Dad and Caffeinated Dad, and all of my names have been taken, so I guess that's me. So I am the Caffeinated. Shot myself in the foot there. But the customization is on par with what we see with Guild Wars 2. You got mustaches, you got mullets, bright red, angry, flaming throws. They're there. You could do that, which is cool. It's industry standard, I would say. Most MMOs have that flexibility to be whatever you want to be, so it's good to see that it's transitioned fairly well. Once you get past all of that, we're ready to start stabbing. The quick real-time action tutorial gives you enough information that you can understand the basics of combat, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel overtaxing. And in that comparison, Guild Wars 2 kind of lets you figure it out as far as leveling your character, and they gave the hints, of course, and then they had some type of tutorial, but it wasn't as direct as most MMOs are. And for better or for worse, New World really just shows you exactly what you need to do in it took less than 2 minutes to get through that basic tutorial, and then they're kind of like, there you go. Here's your main story quest. Here's some other stuff that you can do. Just go. And even with that, even only being like a level 1 person with a sword and a shield, each one of the slashes feels weighted. It feels smooth. Blocking something with a shield, it feels strategic, like you plan that, even though you're butt mashing. Like, it's pretty cool. And then the dodging, I actually really love this is because it does have that mix of Guild Wars 2 dodge with the same kind of like endurance style energy based capabilities. You can't spam dodge, but you can dodge twice and then regenerate over time. But it also still kind of feels like Elden Ring as well, where you're essentially dodge rolling out of all this danger. And it's cool because it's almost like it's got this anime style, I'm jumping out of way just in time, and again, it's planned. It looks aesthetically pretty damn awesome. In my opinion, the best part of New World's, we'll say, gameplay is, of course, their targeting system. So typically in other MMOs, you tab target to go to where you need to, or in Guild Wars 2, you have that kind of baseline AoE where you're throwing around a hammer and you're hitting everyone within that general area with those abilities. With New World, you are targeting a specific enemy and you have to aim on each individual strike, which is such a cool change because it adds that extra layer of engagement. I can't just blindly press buttons. I have to focus on what I'm doing. And if I miss, it's either because the enemy moved and I wasn't paying attention, or I just aimed poorly. More often than not, I'm aiming poorly, but you get the point. Regardless, it takes away from this button mashing, I'm just going to hit every button because it's there type mentality, to strategic. I am planning my attacks, I'm planning my defense. It's this give and take where I have to think about the movements and try to time enemy movements. It's really, really cool. It's a really engaging way to play, especially with an MMO nowadays. And on top of that, probably one of the easiest ways to stay engaged with this game, which I've found recently, is the way that you kind of level up your talent tree, your skill. So as you level and you use your weapons, you unlock certain weapon masteries for those particular weapons. As you use the weapons, you become more proficient at it. You can pick certain skills that are associated with that. So for the sword and shield, you're able to pick sword skills or shield skills. And then on top of that, there's certain bonuses that are layered within this tree that you can kind of go through and just pick, okay, I want some, extra crit damage here, or I want this cool spinning slice. You have these different capabilities right there. And it's as you level, so there is no particular class, it's more so which weapon are you using. Having that type of capability with what Guild Wars 2 has done, which is something I really enjoyed, which is you have a completely different playstyle when you get a new weapon or you use a different weapon. A hammer catalyst looks a hell of a lot different than a staff catalyst. And then even from there, you do have these weapon swaps where you can use two different weapons or two different sets of weapons, and you can pick these different weapons that have scalability with whatever stats that you're picking. So if you're going strength and dexterity, which is really good for scaling sword and shield, it also works really well with the spear. And you could have that as an offhand weapon, or that could be your main hand, the sword shield could be your off. And it's just really cool that you think of all these different pairings. It's a lot of fun. The questing is about what you would expect. A lot of it is just go out, kill a certain amount of enemies, or gather a certain amount of stuff, or go and talk to this guy and then come back and with the quest item. It's fairly simplistic. However, I actually kind of miss that, especially with Guild Wars 2 and the renowned hearts and going around, and essentially it's kind of the same thing, but it feels good to have this kind of messenger type thing. I'm going to go do this one specific thing and then come back and collect my reward. It's something that I know some people don't necessarily like in MMOs because it feels that repetitive, but it harked back kind of to the first time that I ever played World of Warcraft, where it was basically, I'm going out and collecting as many quests as I can, kill wild boars and bring back feathers. Like, it was fun. Crafting is cool in this game, and I will say I've never really been good at any type of survival crafting, but this game feels a little bit survival crafty-y type. Like, you have to go out and gather these resources to come back to create better resources, to be able to gather more resources. It's a cool feed forward system, so you're constantly building off of one another. Okay, so why have I told you all this? Why am I talking about New World? What the hell does this mean for my Guild Wars 2 content? Well, first, I've told you this because I feel it's important that as players, as video game enjoyers, we'll say, absolute chads and chadettes? We're gonna go with chadettes. As people who enjoy video games, it's important to realize that we can be so hyper-fixated on one given title, one given game. And it's something that I suffer from a lot. I will hyperfixate onto one single game, and that is all I'll play for a year, 2 years, 5 years. and there will be very little derivation. I've never played a single God of War game. I've never played any Soul-like games. I feel like I've missed out on quite a bit. And especially as a content creator, I've been devoted to my craft for well over 2 years, as far as Guild Wars 2 content is concerned. I've gotten to the point that I needed to take a step back to really look at the content I was creating. Was I creating this content just because I feel the need that I should? Or was it because I actually really wanted to do it? And as a video game player, I stress to you, think of all the great stories, the great gameplay, the new communities that you could be a part of, because you don't expand your horizons. And I think that's an important message that I'd like to pass on to you guys. Definitely, get out there, try a new game, have some fun, re-energize yourself with the wonderful games that can be out there. And it'll be worth your time. And you don't have to be a pro at it. You could just go out there and enjoy the game. That's a beautiful thing. Now, I will say New World has offered me that. New World has offered me this new outlet that I can explore a different game. I can just have fun. I don't have to be turned on into this content creator mode. It's just a new step for me in New World. And it seems fun. So that is something that I will continue on doing. And as a Guild Wars 2 content creator, as I've mentioned, I needed to take a step back. I needed to slow down. At one point, I think in the past month and a half, I've been putting out nearly 3 videos a week of different things. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit burnt out. Partly the reason that I also took this week break. But having said that, I'm not stopping creating content or stopping streaming with Guild Wars 2. I really enjoyed my Profession Spotlight series, and that's something that I want to carry on even further through Path of Fire and End of Dragons. That's something that I really, really enjoy doing. However, I do think it's important that I splice in other things as well. So don't worry, I'm not stopping with Guild Wars 2. I might just be scaling back a little. If you are looking for a good reason to play Guild Wars 2, or you want to see my fantastic creation of the Profession Spotlights, click this video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks. Take care of yourself. I'll see you guys around.